You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we can laugh all we want about the Jordon Hudson, Bill Belichick situation, but North Carolina knew what they were doing when they brought in Bill Belichick. They knew it was going to be good for the university. It's brought all kinds of attention their way, and guess what? And I suspected this might happen. You're going to see North Carolina fans, they're going to die on a hill for Bill Belichick. If he goes in there and he wins 8 or 9 games, nobody's going to give a rat's ass how old his girlfriend is. I'm just going to keep it real. Nobody's going to care. All right? Do I think something very strange is going on there? Yeah, I do. At first, I was like, okay, they're two adults, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, it started getting weirder and weirder and weirder to the point. And then when I factored in the idea that he might have literally not gotten an NFL job over her, that's just my speculation. But I thought, ooh, is that maybe what happened here? It's hard to defend anything involving this situation. Well, Bill Belichick's out there defending those North Carolina emails that went viral. He's went out there and tried to explain them away, the ones that, of course, Jordon Hudson was all involved with after he said she had nothing to do with the football program. Well, people were going to ask about that. But before we get there, this is exactly one of the reasons why North Carolina brought on Bill Belichick. All right, you see what that says there, that headline. With Bill Belichick in the fold, North Carolina sells out its allotment of 20,000 season tickets. That's exactly why they brought him on. Bill Belichick is good for business, be it via Axios. North Carolina AD Bubba Cunningham recently said the Tar Heels have sold out their allotment of 20,000 season tickets. The program failed to do that in 2024. Just like that, Bill Belichick's been worth it. Just that quick. On top of that, the sellout happened despite a 25% increase in season ticket cost. So not only did they raise the ticket prices 25%, they sold them all out when last year they couldn't. Wow. Cunningham said the school received no pushback on the price hike. No pushback on the price hike. Fans were just fine. With an uptick in primetime games, the program expects to make significantly more money in its first year with Bill Belichick. That tells you all you need to know. These developments give Belichick more leverage as it relates to the power struggle flowing from Belichick's recent PR debacle. As of June 1, he can walk away by refunding $1 million of the prorated $10 million annual salary he's already received. Without Belichick, the Tar Heels would suddenly have far less sizzle. They don't want him to go anywhere. That's the most important point to remember as the buyout plunges from $10 million to $1 million in only 13 days. It was never about North Carolina firing Belichick and owing him the balance of 5 years and $50 million. It was never about Belichick jumping back to the NFL, primarily since no NFL team wants him. It's all about what would it cost for Belichick to pack up his moth-riddled Navy gear and retreat to Nantucket. So, look, I think he's going to go through with coaching there, in my opinion. I don't see him, because the thing about it is, let's say, and the real eye to watch is the second year there. All right? Let's say everything goes through, everything's fine, and he gets a second year. Let's say the second year he wins 10 games. Well, depending on where he's at with Jordon, the NFL clubs are going to start glancing at him again. Let's say he's coming into the last 2 weeks and he's right in that area to get one of the last places in the college football playoff. At that program, it's going to raise a lot of eyebrows. And people are going to be like, you know what? Belichick can still coach. But it all depends on what goes on here with her. I've said now I think he has to get rid of her if he ever wants to even wants to be a possibility to go back to the NFL. And I actually think that door is closed. But I don't think it'll ever open as long as she's around. I just don't. During the first few months of his tenure at North Carolina, Belichick needed extensive help from a public relations standpoint and tapped his 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordon Hudson, for immediate assistance. I don't know if I was CBS if I'd have used the words tapped his 24-year-old girlfriend. God. What transpired? Of course, it goes on the debacle involving the CBS interview. In March, Matt Hartman of the Assembly reported per the Information Act, they got those copies of those emails. Belichick was asked the UNC staff to copy Hudson on emails sent to his inbox. Belichick confirmed this request this month and explained the need for Hudson to oversee his inbox. Quote, one of the first things that came out when North Carolina sent me emails saying these people want to talk to you, I sent back an email. Can you please copy Jordon on these requests? So she could at least filter through them because there wasn't anybody. He said there was nobody. Belichick said on the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark, we didn't have a sports information guy because all emails are shared publicly. That was taken as Jordon's running the sports information department. And that also led to a narrative which is just totally she's not doing it. I mean, there was nobody to help me sort it out, so I was asking her to do it. Former Sports Illustrated and ESPN insider Pablo Torre previously reported on his podcast that Hudson was becoming increasing liability for Belichick and the Tar Heels due to involvement. It was nixed at the football facility. By the way, they have, of course, they had to come out and deny that at record speed. No, she's still allowed there. Well, what do you mean, though? Is she going to be on the practice field, or she can still pull up in the parking lot and pick him up for lunch? There's a big difference. I mean, yeah, she's allowed there. Yeah, she can show up to watch him play, for his football team to play. She can sit in the bleachers and watch watch the practices. But we're talking about actual involvement. All right? Day in, day out, every day. Man, it's interesting. It is. It's interesting because of how it affects the football program, but one thing's clear. It was good for business. He was good for business. I mean, you would have to be a moron to think Bill Belichick was not going to be good for actual monetary football business for the North Carolina program. Of course he was. And he was. This proves it. Wow. It's going to be interesting. They're going to get some night games during the college football season, and it's going to be must-see TV. I mean, it's going to be tune in. Absolutely. Belichick's coaching tonight. Yeah. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.